Last-minute rumors are heating up, and most of the time these rumors don't usually amount to anything, but every once in a while we get something wild that ends up turning into reality. I'm looking at you, MacBook Pro notch. Now, the new Mac Mini and external monitors that we're going to touch on in this video real quick are not far-fetched by any means, because really we've been reporting them for months now that Apple has products like these in the works. We're expecting actually a new Mac Mini to be unveiled tomorrow, but some more information and even some renders based off of that info has been shared by Luke Miani. So let's start with the Mac Mini, which actually, according to Luke, and over on his YouTube channel where he posted all this information, apparently it's not going to be called a Mac Mini, but instead a Mac Studio. And I guess for good reason, because this thing is thick. These renders here show a design that's similar to the Mac Mini with a very similar footprint, but approximately 4 inches taller, just, a lot thicker compared to the Mac Mini, which is at just 1.4 inches. The Mac Studio, according to the renders, will feature an LED light on the front and a thermal design on the bottom for dissipating heat. The renders do not include details on the types of ports that you can see in the Mac Studio, but probably what we were reporting on earlier about all the different types of I/O that we're going to get, including more USB-C ports than the current M1 Mac Mini, which only has 2, so my guess is probably bumped up to 4. Other specs, including what chips the machine will run, are also not included, but my guess is we're going to see the M1 Pro and M1 Max included. But Miani says Apple will unequivocally announce the Mac Studio during its event tomorrow. Last week, 9to5Mac reported on the existence of the Mac Studio, describing it as a hybrid between Apple's highest-end Mac, the Mac Pro, and the Mac Mini. The publication believes that the Mac Studio will be the smaller Mac Pro, which was previously reported by Bloomberg's Mark Gurman. There are reportedly 2 different versions of the Mac Studio in development, one with the M1 Pro chip and another with an even more powerful Apple Silicon processor. So, keeping with the Studio name and another product that we knew was in the works, but I'll be honest with you, I was not expecting it to be remotely announced at tomorrow's event, but if reports are true, then we could perhaps see this tomorrow, is that the more affordable monitor that Apple's been working on is going to be called the Studio Display, and apparently it is all set and ready to go. Now, we can't verify Luke's track record when it comes to sharing Apple's plans, but he does say that the display will measure in at 27 inches in size with slightly larger bezels than the Pro Display XDR and no rear pattern. The renders show a design that's very similar to the 24-inch iMac without any external ports and a black front bezel. Yesterday, Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo says he does expect Apple to release a consumer-level display in a 27-inch size without mini LED this year, and if these recent rumors are true, then it'll launch as soon as tomorrow. These rumors shed no light on the potential price of the display, but some are pointing towards a $1,000 price tag, and that seems to be reasonable given its rumored specifications. Now, if you're like me and you're a bit skeptical about the whole no port situation, that seems normal. I'm guessing the renders just didn't include them because they were unsure about how many ports and where they would be located. Surely there's going to be at least one port for connectivity, unless we're seeing some new wireless display AirPlay monitor tech that no one's been talking about. I highly doubt that. Just the first thing that crossed my mind, and probably yours when you were looking at it and wondering where are all the ports. My other thought on this monitor is that if it looks remotely close to anything that you'd get from a MacBook Pro display in terms of quality, or even close to a Pro Display XDR, then this monitor would most likely be a pretty huge hit at a $1,000 price point. The LG Ultrafine, for perspective here, it wasn't nearly as sleek looking. It was a pretty good display in terms of just that Retina quality that you would get, but it had a fair share of its own issues in general and was roughly $500 more at launch than this rumored price of $1,000. So if that does end up being true, I'm going to be incredibly happy with the potential of this monitor. Real quick, my thoughts on the Mac Studio. This could be a huge hit as well. It could be the Mac Pro replacement that people have been looking for. Incredible power and performance with some newly revamped thermals to keep things silent and cool, and the smaller form factor just fit in any setup, especially when you're comparing it to the very large Mac Pro that we have right now. This event could go from what I thought would be pretty disappointing to really exciting if these two products do end up on the agenda for tomorrow. Apple's event will kick off at 10 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday, March 8th, 1 p.m. Eastern for those of you like me on the East Side. In addition to being streamed on YouTube, the event can also be watched through Apple's events webpage or in the Apple TV app. And if you're unable to watch, you can tune into MacRumors. We'll have live coverage as well as the MacRumors live Twitter account. And of course, come hop over to the YouTube channel again, and I'll have a dedicated breakdown of everything that went on and hands-on with any of the products that were announced at tomorrow's event. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss those videos. And as always, thanks so much for watching. This has been Dan with MacRumors, and I hope to see you around in the next video.